All right. All right, you guys, welcome. We have been having the funniest conversation before you guys all get on. Just like how our lives are so insanely crazy. Like things we never could have imagined. And I had planned to be all cute because I looked really cute today. And then I was like, it's hot and I want to go for a walk with my husband. So you get me hot mess and all. But this is Coach Life. And Kimberly's sitting in the McDonald's parking lot, just so you know. So this is how we roll. But I just want to say welcome to this call. To you guys who are able to be on live and you guys who are watching the recording. We are so honored and so humbled to share our stories with you tonight. And I am Rachel Mitchell. If you don't know who I've been a coach for 6 years now, over 6 years now, past the 6-year mark in July. And I love what I do. But, one of the purposes of our call tonight is to really and truly help you, walk you through some of the own fears and objections that we had, maybe not objections, but mostly fears and just misconceptions maybe that we had before we became coaches. And I just am so honored to tell you a little bit about my story. And there are going to be a few of us who share our stories and also just kind of help you with some of the things that might be swirling around in your head. But I have been a coach since July of 2014. My story with Team Beachbody started before I was a coach. Earlier that year, I can remember in April of that year, I was just sitting there at my desk, I was overwhelmed. I was gaining weight. I was, not in control of my health and my fitness. And I had these 2 little boys who were watching me and depending on me. And I was way past having babies and nursing them and things like that, which had been my excuse for a long time. And I just knew I had to do something. My hormones were out of control. It was affecting my marriage. It was affecting my parenting. My cholesterol was super high. I was not confident with my husband. And honestly and truly, my walk with God was not where it should be. And so I always say that God got my attention with these health struggles. He got my attention with the weight gain. I had never struggled with getting weight off before. And so that was something that I just knew I had to do. It started with a concern about how I looked and what the scale was doing. And it was just the beginning of something that God was going to use to refine me. So I found, I remember Googling portion control. I had no idea about 21 Day Fix, but it had just released. And so obviously when I Googled portion control, 21 Day Fix and all calories popped up on my computer. And I was just like, dude, I'm sold. $60, I'm in. They tried to sell me Shakeology. I was like, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. And so I skipped over it and I just bought 21 Day Fix. And so I started it. I started it all on my own. No coach, no community, nothing. I was that desperate and I just started and I started to get results really quickly. I used these pretty little portion containers, filled them up, made my meal plan, searched meal plans, did the workouts, cried through them. It was a hot mess, but it worked. And it worked so well. I was Googling 21 Day Fix meal plans, found my coach and asked if I could join her challenge group. And so that was how I started. And after a couple of months, still no Shakeology, still not doing that. She asked me if I wanted to be a coach. And I was like, no way, no how. I watched her on social media. She was posting her workouts. She was getting all bold and brave and being out there and sharing everything and talking about freedoms and financial freedoms she was creating. And it's crazy. She has 2 little boys, almost the exact same age as mine. And I was a little bit intrigued because I just thought, oh, wow, she's so brave. And she gets to be home with her kids. And I was working a full-time job and missing my babies. And so I really just started to pray about it. And again, not in the best place spiritually, not compared to now, but I just remember thinking about it and praying about it. And I sat on calls just like this, for 3 months in a row. And I can remember sitting on my couch in there and telling Matt, I don't really want to do this. I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to post on social media. I don't even know if I can do this, but I feel like I'm supposed to. And I think his response was something like, what do you have to lose? Really, what do you have to lose if you don't do it? If you do it and you're still doing your workouts and you drink Shakeology and it doesn't work, it's okay. And so I jumped in, no social media experience, no experience building a business. I had tried all these other MLM things before, and I was not anti MLM. I just had tried things that didn't work. But what really hit me after a month or two of posting on social media, of talking to people, of sharing my story, of reading God's word and Made to Crave and all this stuff, is like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, this, I am here to do this right now. And it was, like I said, it was messy. My pictures were awful. Like, they were dark, they were grainy. Like, we had to post 3 to 5 times a day. And I was literally, you guys, like, did not come into this business with the know-how or even necessarily the like deep seated like why or want to. I just did what my coach told me to do. Like, I loved the workouts. I wanted to try Shakeology. I wanted to share with other women what I was doing. And I just did what she told me to do. And the first month or two was really, really like touch or go. Honestly, the first year was kind of touch or go. Every month I was like, oh, am I going to do this again? And am I going to set another goal? Am I going to run another boot camp? Am I going to invite those 3 people again? But it was just like every day there, God was just saying, one step forward, Rachel, one step forward. He would give me confirmation through his word, through a devotional, through a message from a woman who was watching me, and I had no idea she was watching me. And she would send me a message and say, Rachel, you inspired me to get off the couch today. I knew I was going to see you post your workout, and I knew that I could not lay in bed another day and do nothing. So I got up and I went for a 1-mile walk. And I was like, whoa, like my little old story in like Little Corinth, Mississippi, it encouraged her to do something. And so I don't want you to think that I didn't have to do the work and God just made me successful without me doing anything. I work hard. I work hard. In the beginning, I worked in the pockets of my day around a full-time job, around my kids. And as my business started to grow, my responsibilities grew. And eventually, God allowed me to leave full-time teaching and become a part-time teacher. And now I get to be home. I'm homeschooling my kids. I'm leading this awesome group of women, this team of women who are doing the same things and creating the same freedoms. And so if there's anything I want you to learn from my story, is that you can literally start with nothing but a willingness to say, yes, I'm willing to learn. Yes, I'm willing to do. Yes, I'm willing to get uncomfortable and to do the work and live like nobody else is living right now, so I can live like people can't live later. I was listening to personal development today, and they were talking about pay more now so you can play more later. And I feel like that's kind of what God has allowed me to do. I still work really hard, but I worked really hard and sacrificed a lot. I sacrificed sleep. It's not a sacrifice to give up TV, but you know what I mean. Like I gave up things that were comfortable for me in order to work this business. And he has blessed that business with more time, more freedoms, more income, more beautiful people that you see us surrounded by. And so I want you to learn from my story that God is able first and foremost, and we have to be willing vessels to be used by him in order to see things grow and just prosper. So that's my story. And so who do I pass it off to next? Is it Alyssa? Yeah, Alyssa. Okay, so she's going to talk to you next. This is Alyssa Amlin, and she's great.
Hey, you guys. I'm so glad you're on this call tonight. So I wanted to just share a little bit about who I am and how I got started with this, and then just my whole story on just how I've stuck with it. But I actually signed up in December of 2018. I did sign up with the coach discount with no intention of coaching. I wanted to focus on my goals, and I was in a place that I felt like I was in a really rough spot, that I didn't feel like I had anything to offer anyone else because of where I was. So, but of course, I love to save money. So I was all about the discount, and I knew that I've done these programs in the past. I was one of those people like 7 years ago that invested in P90X when it was on the infomercial and never got connected with the coach back then. But I saw it, I think it was probably 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm like, yep, that's a program I got to do. And I did it. I fell off track just like I had always done, like a major roller coaster, you guys. Like, I feel you. I've been there. I've done it over and over again. But in December of 2018, I had literally gone shopping with my daughter, who is 18 now. And we went shopping. We were trying on jeans. I was in the clothing room, And I tried on a pair of jeans and I had to go up a size that I never thought I would get to. And I sat on the dressing room floor and I cried my eyes out. And then my 18-year-old daughter, who was 17 at the time, opened the door and she's like, "Mama, what's wrong?" And I literally broke down in tears. I told myself I would never, ever cry in front of her because I always wanted her to believe that she was of value. It didn't matter what you looked like. You always have something to give. And I felt like me breaking down in front of her was showing weakness, and it was painful, but it hurt. And then I might get a little emotional here. She looks at me, she goes, "Mama, you're beautiful and you can do this. If you want to do this, you can make it happen." And it was just the push that I needed. And she goes, "We'll put these dang jeans back on the clothes rack and we will come back when you are ready and we'll buy you some new ones." And honestly, you guys, like, it felt horrible to put those jeans back, but I was like, yes, I can do this. I know what works. I know what I need to do. And so a girlfriend of mine had been coaching like a year prior. She's actually the one that kind of got me started, but she kind of fell off track as far as the coaching goes. And she goes, "Hey, I need you to go check out this gal's page. She is absolutely amazing. She's faith driven." And of course I was connected to Rachel, and it's been history ever since. And so, short story, for you guys, like, I kept up with the workouts. I did commit to Shakeology, even though I was in the back of my mind going, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to spend that kind of money on a shake that I'm going to drink every day. But I knew it was important, and I knew if I wanted to get results, I had to try something because everything I had done in the past wasn't working. So I did it every day. I logged into Rachel's morning workouts that I didn't want to do because I didn't want to get up early in the morning, but I showed up. They were there. It was just the motivation that I needed to push myself every single day. So then I started to feel better. I started to feel confident. And I'm not kidding you guys. Like, after just a few weeks, I started to feel so much better about myself that I felt like God was telling me that you have so much more to give, so much more to offer than just doing this. So, like, I wasn't at a goal weight after 3 weeks. There was no way I was going to reach my goal after 3 weeks. But I knew that I needed to just push forward and share. Like, the best I could do is just share with people. And in order to do that, like, I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to share my workouts, which was super crazy. I never thought I would ever do that. Like, honestly, like, I thought people are going to judge me. People are going to really go, like, why would I watch her do this? This is ridiculous. And I just had to get over that. And I had to tell myself, nope, yep, I'm going to do this, because if I can inspire one other person, that was my goal, one other person to do what I'm doing to make me feel like I feel right now, then I knew that my purpose was served. So I pushed. That was the hardest thing, to get out of my shell, to do that. And then posting and sharing. And that's all it is I just had to learn how to share my story and hope that I connect and pray that I connect with somebody that is feeling the same way that I did at one point. I was tired. I had no energy. I didn't know, like, how I was going to make it to the next day, and spending time with my family. And I just didn't feel like I had anything left to give. So I had to make time for myself. And I work full time, you guys, like full-time hours. And I'm not kidding you. Like, my hours are a minimum of 40, but most of the time I'm putting in no less than 43 hours a week. Oftentimes 45. And there's been many times it's 50, 55 hours a week at my job. So I put in that. So it's like 10, 11 hours a day. And I'm like, how am I going to fit coaching into my schedule when I'm doing this? And I had to sit down and I had to get very diligent with my time. My mornings, like, I get up every morning at 4:30. Like, I could get up and I could do my workout in a half hour and I could be on with my day. I could be done with what I'm doing. Like, that's all I would need to do. But I take that extra time to, like, check into my challenge groups. I use that time before I'm going to work to, post on social media, to check in with my challengers, and to really, like, put myself out there. And then when I start my day at work is like my break time. Like, that's when I will share what my nutrition is throughout the day. Like, it's super important for me to share my workouts and my nutrition throughout the day, because it's key to living a healthy lifestyle. I mean, honestly, we can't get results if we don't pay attention to the nutrition and workouts. So I know that that's a priority. And then I just post throughout the day. And then like at my lunchtime, if I take a lunch break, I will be honest, I don't always take a lunch break. I will eat at my desk sometimes just to push through the day because I've got so much to do. But when I do, that's when I'm checking into my challenge groups, or I'm connecting with people on social media, because that's what this business is about, is connecting with people and making sure that, like we can scroll through social media mindlessly, or we can connect. And I try to take 15 minutes during my lunch break and just connect with people, because I feel like that's going to build relationships, and that's what I want. I don't want to I don't want to just connect randomly with people if they haven't heard from me in months. Like if I connect with them, I want it to be a realistic, like, hey, how are you doing? I don't want it to be like, hey, have you seen what I'm doing? Like, I want you to come join me and do this. Like, I want it to be surreal, and I want to be honest. And then my evening times during the week, I don't do a power hour like some people do. Mine is more like focused on a half hour every day during my work week until on Fridays. On Fridays, when my days are a little bit shorter, I can dial in a little bit more. I can put in an hour of time of where I can really focus on business building. And then my Saturdays and my Sundays are really my planning days, and making sure that like I'm doing the ideal business things to make this business work. And that's sending meal plans to my clients. It's, really checking in to see how everyone is doing. Because you guys, I feel like my purpose here is to connect and focus on the people that have come to me and want to make their life better. So yes, I want to constantly add clients to my, to who I'm working with, but I also want to invest in the people that are already here. And I feel like that's super important to make sure that that time is served to them. Like that's what I feel God has called me to do. So I may work a lot. I may have a really hard time during the week when other people are able to do more throughout the day, but you just have to fit it into your schedule. Like if you have little kids, like I have an 18-year-old that's no longer at home. So, my time is a little bit different. Now I have to focus my attention on my husband, who's been neglected for years. So, but, we're figuring that out. It all works, but we make it work. And it's gotten so much better. Like we're connecting. He knows that I want to do this. So I set my half hour and I say, okay, I'm going to set my timer. As soon as this is done, you have all of me. And he's totally supportive of that. So if I can, be super honest with you, if you can be open with your family that this is something that's important for you to do with your significant other, if you have one, just be open and honest and say it's important, but really set a schedule and then stick to it. So if I can do this, honestly, you guys, anybody can do this.
I love it. So well said. You broke that down really well. I love that. All right, Kimberly, I think you're up.
Yes. So like Rachel said, I am currently sitting in the McDonald's parking lot in my car because we are temporarily living with my brother-in-law and his family, who are graciously welcoming us into their home. We moved out of our home, and our new home is not ready yet. So their internet is not great, and there's like 15 zillion computers and tablets and TVs running off the internet. So I wanted to make sure I had a good internet connection. So that's why I'm in my car. But my name is Kimberly Davis, and I have been a coach for about 10 or 10 and a half months. I started last October, and I, like Rachel, have been with Team Beachbody like on the workout side for several years. Had been a part of another coaches challenge group before, and when I first started, I just started doing the workouts because I knew I needed to work out, but like my nutrition was still crappy, so I wasn't getting results. Well, a few years ago was my husband and I's 10-year wedding anniversary, and we were going on a cruise, and so of course, I wanted to look good in a bathing suit, and so there was a new program coming out, and I decided just to go for it. Like it was going to start in January and it would finish like right at our cruise. I'm like, okay, this is perfect. I'm going to do it. So I went in and did the nutrition and I did the workouts and I got amazing results, and the cruise came and went, and slowly and surely the weight kept coming on. The nutrition fell by the wayside, and just like, it just didn't last. And so between that point and last October was about a year and a half or so. And Through that time, the weight kept creeping back up. I got to a weight like I never thought I would be. Like I was the heaviest I'd ever been, besides when I was pregnant with my kids. And I was struggling so much with anxiety and just like the day-to-day things, like of even just picking up a room in my house. Like I just felt stuck. Like I felt like I couldn't do it. And that was so not like me. Like that's not who I am. I feel like I'm a very motivated, like go-getter, like get things done. Like when it gets in my mind, I just want to do it, but I couldn't do it. Like, and I had no idea why. And I don't know. I just couldn't do it. And so God had been working in me and like stirring my heart for something. And I can remember like sitting at my dining room table, like reading my Bible and just like talking to my husband thinking like, I feel like he wants, like I'm supposed to be doing something. I don't know what, like, I feel like I'm supposed to be sharing or mentoring or something. And I couldn't figure it out. And so like my husband and I were like talking about things and talking about a possibility like at church or with women in our life class and things like that. And all the while, like in the back of my head, this little voice is saying, coaching, coaching, coaching. And I'm going, no, no, no. And just like the coach I was with before, she was very encouraging and very motivating, but she was not a believer. And so faith was not in the picture. And, I just didn't see, I don't know, it just didn't make sense at that point. Well, God put Rachel in my Instagram feed one day and I started watching her and started following her, and she was sharing her faith and she was like including that in her fitness and nutrition. And it was just like a light bulb went off, and it was just like, duh, like why have I never invited God into this part of my life? And so I prayed about it, and like I felt deep down that this is what I was supposed to do, but then in the head, like I'm looking in the mirror myself and I'm thinking, no, I can't do this. Like I was like, I had gained from the time like we finished our cruise, my husband and I finished our cruise to that point, I had gained like 25 pounds. And I'm like, there's no way. Like I can't lead people in fitness and nutrition when I look like this. Like there's no way anybody's ever going to follow me or join me to do things when I look like this. And so I was so scared because I was not at my goal weight. I did not, like I had lost all the results I had gained, and I just like totally beat myself up and said, there's no way I can do it. But God wouldn't leave me alone. And I was watching Rachel's stories and she reached out and messaged me. And I talked to my husband and we prayed about it. And I just said, I just feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know what it's going to bring. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm just going to go for it. And so I did. And I think like God has been gracious and so good to me through this. Like he has used coaching to seriously change my life. It is like my faith journey and my relationship with God has grown immensely. I mean, I've been in church and a believer since I was 9 years old, but I've never experienced this much growth in my faith since I have the last 10 months. I have a confidence. I just feel so much better. Like every aspect of my life has been touched by coaching. But I think like so many times I talk to women and they're like, I'm not at my goal weight, or I don't have a six pack, or I don't have muscle. Like it doesn't matter. Like the beauty of this is like just being bold and sharing your journey, and people get to watch that. And like when you're bold, it encourages other people to be bold. And when they see you stepping out of your comfort zone, it makes them want to step out of their comfort zone. And so I just want to like encourage you, like if you're here and you're curious about coaching and you're like thinking if this is something you're supposed to do, but yet you're not where you want to be, that's okay. Like that's the part of this journey. Like we are here as coaches to be a product of the product. Like we follow these programs and we do these nutrition plans and we drink this shake so that we can get the results that other people can see. Like if I came in and had, rockin' body, six pack abs, like from start to like when I started, and then do these programs and look the exact same, like that's not a journey. Like, I mean, I'm not saying like you will get to a point where you will maintain results and be in maintenance phase, but but the beauty of it is you don't have to be perfect. You can come as you are and share your journey as you go along, and people want to see that. And so, yeah, I think that's all I have. I feel like I'm just rambling, but anyway.
You're not rambling. That's some truth bombs right there. I think I mean, like I didn't have a perfect body when I started either. And I love that. Like there are people who come in with a really, really strong body and they just love health and fitness and they love the programs and they want to help and they're very successful too. But I think there's just something about watching you transform from the inside out, and, I did have a transformation when I started, but I can always go back to that start, that day one, right? And just see that change that God brought about. And, like I think like Katie shared today, I shared today, a lot of us shared our transformations. Bye, Laurel. We'll see you later. We shared our transformations, but so often it's a transformation that happens like inside first. And that is worthy of sharing too. So I love that. Thank you, Kimberly.
Yeah. And I think, sorry, one more thing. I just think like too, like when people see that, like it makes you real. Like it makes you relatable. And before we started our call, I was talking like being with in our family's house. Like right now, I just feel like the nutrition side for me has been so hard, and the mindset shift. Like before, I would have been just like throw in the towel. Who cares? Just I'll eat all the crap. But it's like I'll do the best I can, and I know it's only for a short time, and then I know how to turn it back around. Like that's the difference. And so I think it just helps you if you just share like honestly and be real with people, like that's what people want to see.
Agree completely. All right, Katie, you're up next. You ready?
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie. I have been with Beachbody now for, I think, 11 months. I started last September, and I started as a discount coach customer because I, too, wanted the discount, and I wanted to save money every month, and I decided that I wanted to go all in, so I was going to get the shakes and be drinking them for a couple months at least. So I wanted that discount. So that's where I started. But what brought me to Beachbody was each of these coaches, I can pick out pieces of their story that fit with mine as well. But we were in the middle of moving as well. And we had sold our house and we were living with my parents. And our house had not been finished yet. So I'm in the same boat as Kimberly right now. And I just let myself go. I would do a workout here and there, and it wasn't Beachbody, but I would do it here and there. And I just let my nutrition go, and whatever my mom fixed, that's what we ate. I would drink all the soda. I just did stuff to kind of stay sane. And I wasn't feeling great. And I cannot believe I put on a lot of weight, and I just wasn't feeling like myself. And so it was funny last year, about this time of the year, I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I am only 2 years away from 40. Like all of a sudden it just hit me like 40, that's like crazy. And so I decided that I wanted to be in the best shape of my life by the time I was 40. That might not happen, but that's my goal, is to get there. But so that's one thing that really pushed me into finding Beachbody. And I got connected with Rachel through one of our mutual friends who I love dearly. She's such a good friend. But she connected me to Rachel, and so I became her customer. And so I was doing all the workouts, and she invited me to a coaching call. And so I accepted, and I was just showing up just to see what it was like. And so I kept showing up, and she would keep asking me, and I kept saying, I'm just not right. I'm praying about it. And that was my thing. And I was praying about it, so I wasn't lying or anything, but I just kept putting it off. And God just really got a hold of my heart. And what really drew me to Beachbody was the community. And I really needed the community in my life. And I was looking for a group of women who are like-minded, who love the Lord with all their heart, and screamed it from the mountaintops. And we did life together. That's what I was looking for. And I didn't know that God's plan was going to be to jump into health and fitness coaching. That was totally not where my background's in education. Like, I was a teacher. And so that just didn't fit with me. But I said yes. And so I jumped in, and I've been a coach now for only 4.5 months. And it has been so fun and a crazy whirlwind all at the same time. So before I started with Beachbody last year, I was a part of a direct sales company before that. And when I joined that direct sales company, my upline decided to quit. She just stopped and joined something else. We all move on, that's fine. But I was left alone and trying to figure out what I was doing, and I didn't know what I was doing. And the gal that I got put under wasn't in it for the business side of it. And here I am trying to figure this out, and I was doing a horrible job, to be honest. But I mean, I had to do everything from scratch and try and figure it out a little bit by little bit. So I had no support in that company to grow a business. So I was kind of leery when I came to Beachbody and coaching was presented to me. I was kind of skeptical of the business aspect of it because I didn't want to be left by myself to figure things out. It was a little scary that way for me. I didn't want to feel alone like that anymore. So, and try and figure out the business side of things. But as I was watching Rachel and as I was watching and joining these coach opportunities, I kept seeing the community and how all of these ladies just embraced each other and supported each other, prayed for each other, and just, it was a family, and I loved it. And so when I committed, Rachel said, "Don't worry, it will be okay. We'll give you all the tools." And so I said, okay, all nervous. I said, okay. And so when you come into this community, not only does Beachbody give you materials to use in your bod groups or on a daily basis with the business activity tracker, but our team has so much to offer with all the knowledge and the insights from any one of these coaches. We also have social media, things that you can, that you can adapt to make your own and to put your own story in. So there are materials, there are things that you can use. And so that was huge for me because I was coming from a background of having to do it on my own. We don't have to recreate the wheel here. And I love that. We all work together. What's mine is yours. What's yours is mine. We kind of just share it all around. And that's so comforting to my heart and just to me. But one of the biggest things is that we have an outline as coaches. We have an outline, and I'm a checkbox person. I love to make lists and check them off. Raise your hand if you're like me. Yes. All righty. And so we have a checklist, and we go through that checklist every single day. And it's called the Business Activity Tracker. Thank you, Rachel. I forgot mine. I love this because all I have to do is look at this activity tracker, and I check mark by boxes. And that's my work for the day. I've done it. And that has just been such a blessing to me to come into having something already ready for me to be able to use. And all these ladies in the community that are willing to help me. I have so many questions being a new coach, and I just say, "Oh, new coach here. I don't know what I'm doing. Please help." And they're so willing to help. And I have so appreciated this community, and it really does feel like family. So that's part of my story, and that's what I wanted to share with you, is that we do this together, and it is so much better together. So
It is fun together, but I also think it's important. While you were talking, I thought about something. Is that the community is amazing. Like these women, again, like I'm surrounded with by these squares. Like it is incredible, and I never saw it coming. I never expected it. But I also, with like each one of them and myself, as they grow into who they are as an individual. And I think that is one of the coolest things to see, like just hearing Katie speak and remembering our first conversations and seeing her come out of her shell in the last 4 months and really like develop her own voice and her brand, as we call it. That is her lifestyle. I think it's really cool that as we come together and build each other up, we also just rise up, almost like not out of the ashes, that sounds stupid, but like rise up out of like just this I don't know, just this shell that we've been living in and grow into who God created us to be. And I just love that. I love that about this as well. So while you were talking about community, I was thinking about individualism and how that all plays together. So thank you, Katie. You did a really good job of sharing that. I think McKenna, are you up next?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, you guys. My name is McKenna Boyer. Like all these ladies, it is fun. I've actually heard different parts of everybody's stories tonight that I hadn't heard before, and it's fun to just see like why we were together because we have so many parts in common. So I'll try to real quick do my little background. I have struggled with being overweight for a long time, even growing up. I never thought that I couldn't be the fat girl. I'm not gonna lie, that's something I've struggled with. And fast forward to high school, struggled with some eating disorders. Figured out that I could lose weight, which was really exciting, even though it wasn't the best way. But that kind of jump-started my journey on finding the healthy way to stay healthy, right? Fast forward again to having babies. I have 2 beautiful, crazy babies, and I really struggle, especially back then, but even now, with getting too big or getting too small again, right? I have this irrational, semi-rational fear of getting too big like I was growing up and being too small like I was in high school. But when you have babies, you get a little bigger because that's what's healthy, right? You gotta grow those healthy babies. So after my second baby, I found myself in a very dark, depressed, lost place. I wasn't working full-time anymore. I was a full-time mom. I didn't have any hobbies. I felt very lost and directionless and resentful because I couldn't get myself out of bed before my kids were screaming, and all day was just survival mode, like no progress on anything. And for all you mamas, the newborn stage is just hard no matter how you slice it, but like we really struggle with the newborn stage in our house. So I was just very depressed. I felt very like if this is life, I cannot do it anymore. So I was in this very desperate place. I had been using Beachbody just as a customer before. My coach had left me. She like signed me up and left me. So don't do that. But this was the summer of 2018, and Ashley Burbank is my coach. We went to high school together, and she was a brand new little baby coach, and she posted about one of her groups, and I was like, hey, I already have all this stuff, but I want a group. Can I be in your group? And she was like, have you ever thought about coaching? And I was like, like I have 60 pounds to lose. So heck no, I haven't thought about coaching. But just like everyone said, right? Like God got me. It stuck in my head and I couldn't think of anything else. I was like, dang it, this is my answer. What the heck? Because I'd been praying so hard for something. Like I needed something different because I was going to die if I stayed where I was at. Like mentally, physically, I was just dying. So I said yes to coaching, you guys. I was 60 pounds heavier than I am right now. Okay, so along with what Kimberly was saying, you do not need to be at your goal weight, ideal, whatever, right? Like there's so much power in taking people on that journey. So I committed to coaching with absolutely, like at the very beginning. And for me, it's literally saved my life. It's brought me out of the ashes, like Rachel was saying, and just put me on this path that's so meaningful and so purposeful. I now enjoy my kids more. I get so much more done in a day than I ever did in like a month before when I couldn't even get out of bed, right? Like it's just totally revamped my life in all aspects. I like to call coaching my catalyst. It was the catalyst that just got my life where it needed to be so that God could start working through me. And it's amazing. So my part of what I'm going to talk about tonight, oh, sorry, my fire alarm's dying and it's screeching, so I'm sorry. Well, it doesn't do it very often. So I wanted to talk about social media tonight because, you guys, when I started coaching, I didn't even have an Instagram, okay? I posted on Facebook maybe once a month, and it was always just about my kids because I didn't like how I looked at pictures. I'm not posting pictures of myself, right? Like, it was always about my kids. It was like maybe once a month. Didn't even have an Instagram, okay? So social media should not be a barrier to you saying yes to this business, because we teach you, and I'm still learning, but like, we teach you how to do pictures, we teach you what to post about, and really, like, I think it was like what Alyssa was saying, right? Like, you really are just sharing your story. We help you figure out different things to use in marketing, and right, but like, really, it's just showing up and sharing your story, and it's just tweaking the things to help people get to your story, right? But we really do teach you. I literally had no social media, anything, when I started, and now I post 1 to 2 times a day, and my pictures are actually really pretty good. I feel pretty good about my pictures. But I started from zero, so don't let that stop you. We really do teach you, and so I actually had to wait a little bit before I like signed up, but I told Ashley I was gonna just start like practicing pretending to be a coach. So I actually pretended or like posted like a coach for like 2 or 3 months before I signed up. And for those of you on the fence, I would suggest this is how you start doing it. And this is what I tell my new coaches too, if they're not super comfortable jumping in all the way, is you just literally start sharing your story. So I remember one of my first posts was me in a yoga squat because my flexibility was something I'd been working on. I was like, just wanted to share this personal victory. My squat got lower, and I was, so by the time I did my coach announcement post, it wasn't like it came out of nowhere, right? People knew that I was working on me and I was working on something, but then it was like, bam, now we're doing this thing. But just know that social media is such a cool tool. Don't be intimidated by it. We will teach you. There's so much training, and it's such a cool platform. You guys, I have clients and new friends from all around the world that I never in a million years would have found if I didn't have Instagram. And it's so cool to be able to connect with women all over the world at different stages of life with things that they have in common with you, just because you're showing up and sharing your story that God gave you to share on social media. So I'll pass it on to Ashley to finish it up.
Okay. Sorry, I had to move my little guy. It was bedtime, and so I didn't want him to hear my voice and wake up. So my office is right next to his room. Anyway, like everybody else, I was just desperate for something. So when I stumbled upon Rachel, I was just asking for something, and the world of social media and Instagram, like, how cool is it? Like, I have now known this woman for like almost 3 years. Have never met her face to face, but in like claim her as one of my best friends. Like, it's so cool, that power there. But anyway, so I started a new job where it's my current job. I'm also a full-time footwear rep. So I cover Oregon, Washington, and Alaska. So I had been on the job 6 months. I finally gotten my feet under me, gained 10 pounds, was eating like crap because I was on the road. And I was like, I am losing my confidence. Like, and what do you need to sell something? You need some confidence to do it well, And so I knew there was no gym chain that covered my whole territory. I was like, okay, Rachel reached out to me, and I'm like, thank you, Lord. Like, this is what I needed. So started with 21 Day Fix and saw results. And I mean, it's amazing when you put things together and you become consistent, how quickly, like, you really feel better. And it was just like, oh my gosh, I was more intimate with my husband. Like, that's always a good feeling, let's be real here. And just in general, it's like, women deserve to feel this way. Like, we need this. Like, we give our energies to so many other people, and like, we get depleted so easy. But when we feel good, like, we can give it out even more. And so I started coaching. It has been a little bit of a bumpy ride for me because I do work full time, and I'm now a mama. I almost have a 1-year-old, which seems crazy. So for me, it's been this constant battle of finding that balance within my schedule and my life and making it work. Like some seasons of life, like you're going to be probably more of a hobby coach, even if you want to be like a full-fledged, this is what I do coach. And that's okay, because that's part of your journey and you have to give yourself grace. So this is something that like it has taught me, is to give yourself grace. And that's been really, really rewarding and refreshing. And then with the confidence thing, Beachbody was able to re-give that to me after my little man, because it is absolutely amazing what our bodies can do, but sometimes it's just hard. It's just hard to not feel like you quite yet again after you do that. And you just have to grow into the better version of you that you become. But anyway, so that's my little story. And I get to talk about the fun part of the business, which is making an impact while also making an income. And so what we do is every month we initiate the conversations and we develop those real relationships that Alyssa was talking about. And we help women start their fitness and health journeys. So the goal is always 3. And then once you have done that, why we say 3 is because when you hit 3, your Shakeology is paid for, or, you know, if you use other supplements, by commissions. So whatever when we sell a challenge pack, with somebody buys Beach Bars or Energize, we do get commissions off of that. And the commissions range just depending on what the items are. It's anywhere from 25% to 40%. So with that, we earn that way. And then once you do help those 3 people a month, since that's our goal, Beachbody is really cool. And they also actually give you different prizes, and there's a lot of opportunities for bonuses. The easiest way to help hit bonuses is by helping to develop a team. So just like all of us work together as a team, I mean, we see ourselves as an entire unit, and that community is so cool. And so once you have added some people to your team and you've brought in other coaches and you're starting to help them, once they begin earning, you also begin earning. There's different matching bonuses and cycles, and it is pretty confusing. So I'm just going to kind of leave that as the overview of it. And I don't want to make it seem, we try to keep it simple. So we're going to keep it simple here tonight with that. But the earning potential here is exponential. And I mean, we earn so much more than money. We earn our confidence, we earn joy, like we earn our faith, and it's all through different growth. So, and we can also earn trips, which is really exciting. So I think pretty much a good portion of the ladies who are here have earned a trip to Florida for a team retreat. We're gonna head to Destin in a month. And I know we're so excited about that. So yeah, that's my little spiel about earning. So
that's
thank
good.
you,
That's
ladies.
good. You did a good job. We earn by helping people get started on their own fitness journey, and then we earn by teaching women to do what we're doing, which is what we're inviting you to do, to learn how to be a coach. So yeah, that's awesome. I love Ashley's story because she did. I mean, we don't have time to go into it all, but she made a comeback after that baby, and it's just been really cool to watch her. So do you guys have any questions for us? If there's anything you want us to clarify, we can. But we really wanted tonight, honestly, I don't know, maybe you guys, if you agree with me or not, we have this 2-part system to our what is coaching this month. And tonight we really wanted to kind of share the struggles that we brought into this business, the obstacles that we have overcome. And next Monday night, we're going to do another call. But tonight, like after you watch this video or after you watch the recording or whatever, we encourage you to reach out to the woman that invited you here, to the coach that invited you. And if you have more questions, ask her. If you're ready to start your own coaching business and like not wait until September, like you can do that. Like we have the trainings to put you in. We honestly would probably just give you some things to do as you start your business. And then in September, we start a whole new coach training with our team. But no matter what, like if you decide to start now, September, or you sit on like 3 or 4 months of these calls, like a lot of us did. You know, like we have the tools and the resources to teach you how to become a coach. We're not going to run your business for you. We're nobody's boss, but we will happily link arms with you. And like Katie said, you know, what's ours is yours. You don't ever have to like wonder, what do I need to wake up and do today? You don't ever have to think, oh, you know, Katie made these really cute stories. How'd she do that? She's going to tell you how she did it if you ask her, right? So it's very much a community. The training is the same for everyone. And it's you guys, these women on this call are the ones that just came in. They did the work, they asked the questions, they showed up even on the days that were hard, they overcame obstacles, and they are just living proof of what's possible. So we want to bring on more women who want to be healthy, who want to be fit, who want to grow in their faith, who want to build a business and an income by being a light and making an impact, honestly. And so that is what we wanted to share with you guys tonight. And again, you know, if you still have questions, if you still aren't sure, if you want to pray about it some more, like we ask you to do that. And we are going to do another call next Tuesday night. And we're going to get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty. Like, you know, how do we use social media? What do we do in our challenge groups? You know, like maybe a little bit more details about how we earn an income. So definitely come back and ask us questions. Bring friends with you next Tuesday night. We are going to do it again. But if you're ready to start, don't wait. Like, don't wait. If you have that tug in your belly, that feeling in your gut, like we all did, you know, listen, take action. One step at a time. I promise you that you won't regret it if that's where God's leading you. All right. Do you guys have anything else to say? Anybody else? I think we bared our soul. We shared our hearts. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening to our stories. We are just so humbled to share them. And I can't wait to welcome you guys to our team. All right. All right, you guys. Good night.